Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Jian from BK Floral Delight. Today we're gonna make this dreamy, beautiful translucent flower. Let's get started. Today we're going to use this rice paper. If you visit an Asian supermarket, you'll easily find this. I'm going to use few sheets to make my petals. First, I'm going to make extra small size petal. So in this video, I'm trying to show you several different sizes, but depending on your flower, you can just pick one size or mix match with a few different sizes of the petals. Prepare a bowl and bring a warm water. It's about 80 Fahrenheit, 26 to 27 Celsius. I'm adding violet food coloring and some rose food coloring, and I add a small amount of ivory food coloring. This is to tint my rice paper lightly, but if you prefer to have a vivid and bold color, you can also add a good amount of food coloring inside or paint it afterwards. Now we can start painting the edges. I used the same color, violet color and rose food coloring, and I also used the yellow ivory color for the pointy part of my petals. I really love this process because you can see how the colors are spreading out and blending in together, and also you can achieve some effects that you didn't plan ahead. This is another important tip that I wanted to share with you: to dry your petals on the wrinkly parchment paper. It helps you to dry them easily, and you can also add a nice natural shapes on your petals. And I also recommend you to add the flower wire before drying the petals. Place the wire underneath your petal and wrap around your wire with the petal. Once you're done painting, place your petals inside the oven and bake it at 175 Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. You can leave them longer after you're done baking, and also while you're preheating, you can leave the petals inside the oven. After 30 minutes of baking, I left my petals for an extra hour and it's fully dried. Also, the bigger petals are fully dried, so you can leave in total of hour and a half or 2 hours. These petals are so delicate and they're so light. It's so beautiful. And I also had some petals without the wires, and also I dried them in the silicone pad and some on the parchment paper. The ones from the parchment paper was easy to peel it off and it dried well, but ones on the silicone pad was also fully dried, but it was stuck on the silicone pad and you can see the texture of the silicone pad, so I recommend you to use a wrinkly parchment paper to dry your petals. Also, you can add the wires on the petals after the drying process. I made this glue with the leftover rice paper and the water. Make a mixture and microwave for 30 to 1 minutes or 1.5 minutes, but check every 30 seconds. Place your petal and add some glue on the wire. I also add small piece of rice paper to secure them together. Also, you can bake it again or dry them overnight. I used the same Ivory gel paste color to paint my stamen. Use vodka to dilute the colors. It evaporates quick, so it dries faster. I try to color my stamen as fast as possible using less liquid. Once you're done coloring, I used food grade bamboo stick to wrap them around. So it might look unfinished if you have a white part left after you're wrapping it, so I'm going to add more food coloring and cover the white parts. So when my stamen was still wet, I add 3 small petals. But you can also add the petals with the wire, that's much easier. I'll show you how I added with the fondant. So with small fondant, I add juniper green color and mix them well and cover it with a glass bowl. Bring a small piece of fondant and cover the bottom part of the stamen. Once you're done covering with the fondant, bring the smallest size petals, and I'm going to stick the wire on the fondant and cover the wire with this small piece of fondant. And repeat the process. Bring your second petal and stick the wire onto the fondant and cover the wire. And once you add more wires, the whole structure will become heavy. So use a temporary tape to secure the wires. I'm using this fondant to fill up the gaps in between the wire, and you can have a nicer color, but if you want to speed up the process, you can skip the fondant and wrap it with the flower tape. Once you're done with all the details, this is your final wrapping with the flower tape. Secure all your wires and wrap it tightly. Also, with the fondant, cover the wires and fill up the gaps in between the wires and smooth it out with your fingers. The flower is ready. I have many different flowers coming up, so don't forget to subscribe my channel, and I hope you enjoy this video.